January 2026 isn't arriving quietly. The new gaming year is kicking off with a bang, packed with strategic moves, huge promises, and releases already generating a lot of hype. Major studios and developers are going all in to set the pace from the very first month. In this video, we'll explore the 14 most anticipated games of January 2026, a selection that blends intense action, epic adventures, deep RPGs, and ambitious projects aiming to make their mark from the very start of the year. If you want to know which titles will officially launch in 2026, which ones might be surprise hits, and which ones are under immense pressure to meet huge expectations, stick around until the end and join me on this journey through the immediate future of gaming. Code Vein 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to the acclaimed anime-style action RPG developed by Bandai Namco Studios and is scheduled for release on January 30th, 2026. This new installment not only continues the story, but also expands its universe in a darker and more ambitious way. This time, players take on the role of a revenant hunter, a warrior specializing in hunting hollows, creatures deformed by the mysterious influence of the Rapacis moon. The story unfolds in a post-apocalyptic world marked by endless ruins, deadly enemies, and the last vestiges of a vanished civilization. Code Vein 2 evolves the original formula with a much more fluid and dynamic combat system, deeper character customization, and new strategic mechanics based on blood abilities. By defeating enemies, players can collect blood to unlock devastating powers, modify their playstyle, and create unique synergies. In addition, players will be able to configure special weapons called gifts, adapting them to each situation and type of encounter. The game also incorporates AI-controlled allies, capable of providing support in combat and reacting to the player's decisions. In terms of narrative, Code Vein 2 features branching paths, where the passage of time and the choices made directly influence the story's development and ending. With a gothic, anime-inspired aesthetic, challenging combat, and a deeper narrative, Code Vein 2 promises an intense and immersive action RPG experience, combining exploration, strategy, and meaningful choices. Broken Lore: Unfollow presents a deeply psychological and disturbing story. The protagonist is Annie, a young woman scarred by bullying who awakens trapped in a twisted world built from her fears, memories, and emotional wounds. In this constant nightmare, Annie is forced to explore oppressive environments and confront the most painful decisions of her past, decisions that continue to haunt her even as she tries to escape. Every step she takes brings her not only closer to the truth, but also to what she has tried to forget. But Annie is not alone. In the shadows of this distorted world, a monstrous creature watches her, stalks her, and follows her every step, turning exploration into an experience of constant tension where fear never lets up. Broken Lore: Unfollow is a survival horror game that embraces a dark and atmospheric narrative. Its release is scheduled for January 16th, 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC via Steam, promising a haunting experience where running away isn't always the solution, and facing the past can be even more terrifying. Cairn throws you a challenge as simple as it is brutal: face a mountain no one has ever conquered, and come out alive. Thus begins this adventure, not about saving the world, but about surviving every step of the way as you attempt to climb the imposing Mount Kami. For many, it would be madness, but for Ava, a determined and courageous mountaineer, this climb is something much more personal. There are no shortcuts, no miracles, only determination, calculation, and endurance. The game features a surprisingly realistic climbing system, where every hold matters, every move counts, and a single mistake can end in a fatal fall. Virtually any surface can be climbed, but discovering the right route, the safest and most efficient one, will be the key to survival. During the journey, Ava must manage resources, collect pitons, medicine, and ingredients to prepare food while camping high on the mountain. And as if the ascent weren't demanding enough, the weather is against you. Rain, cold, and changing conditions will test your physical and mental endurance at every turn. Developed by the game bakers, Cairn promises to be an intense, demanding, and very different experience from the norm in the genre. The game will arrive on January 29th for PlayStation and PC, and if you like a real challenge, this is one you won't want to underestimate. Highguard is the new free-to-play shooter from White Lights, a team comprised of several creators of Titanfall Legends, who set out to build a completely new experience within the PvP raid shooter genre. Available from January 26th on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, S, Highguard puts you in command of the Guardians, warriors capable of combining magic with conventional weaponry, resulting in unpredictable, dynamic, and visually spectacular encounters, where each match can unfold differently. The main objective of each encounter is to capture the Shield Breaker, a key artifact that concentrates the energy needed to dominate the region. Once obtained, the team must infiltrate the enemy base and destroy it, facing constant defenses, ambushes, and counterattacks. This gameplay structure blends competitive shooter, cooperative assaults, and strategic objective management, offering a fast pace and a strong tactical component. Coordination between players will be essential, as planning the timing of the final attack can make the difference between victory or defeat. Arknights: Enfield is the next big step for a franchise that debuted in 2019 on mobile devices and has since established itself as one of the most influential projects in the industry. Its success was such that it even spawned an anime, and now the saga continues its expansion with a spin-off game set on a completely new planet. This time, the powerful Ryan Lab Industries has launched an ambitious project to bring civilization to the planet Talos 2. However, the world and its inhabitants prove anything but welcoming. After a devastating catastrophe severely impacts the operation, players will assume the role of PFRD agents, a unit tasked with exploring, containing threats, and taming this hostile alien planet. In terms of gameplay, Arknights: Enfield is shaping up to be a very different experience from the original title. The spin-off will feature a strategic real-time combat system, although for now, the specific details about its mechanics remain a mystery. It also hasn't been confirmed whether it will retain the gacha system, although everything points to it potentially remaining in some form. Most importantly, Arknights: Enfield will arrive on January 22nd for PC and PlayStation 5, marking a key step for the franchise by expanding into an ecosystem that, until now, hadn't been its primary focus. The Seven Deadly Sins: Origins is a free-to-play action RPG developed by Netmarble, inspired by Nakaba Suzuki's manga and anime. It will be released on PC, PlayStation 5, and mobile devices, and unlike other adaptations, it won't retell a familiar story, but rather expand the universe with a completely original plot. The game takes us to an open-world Britain, filled with forests, villages, castles, and ancient ruins waiting to be explored. Every corner of the map hides secrets, from legendary monsters and hidden dungeons to rare treasures that reward those who dare to stray from the main path. In combat, we can control several characters, each with unique abilities and magical powers true to the spirit of the series, allowing for balanced teams and varied strategies. And to balance the action, the game also offers side activities such as fishing, cooking, and interacting with NPCs, adding rhythm and depth to the world. All of this comes with beautifully crafted graphics, a great sense of freedom, and a free update model that will add new content over time, making the Seven Deadly Sins: Origins an ambitious offering for both fans of the saga and new players. Pathologic 3 is the sequel to one of the most unsettling and disturbing narrative experiences in modern video games. Developed by Icepick Lodge, the title returns us to an isolated and dying town, trapped by the relentless advance of a plague that not only consumes bodies, but also corrodes beliefs, shatters social structures, and tests all moral certainty. Nothing remains untouched once the disease takes hold. This time, the player assumes the role of a doctor facing impossible decisions, where every action has irreversible consequences. Curing some means condemning others. Telling the truth can be more lethal than lying. Time becomes a scarce and merciless resource, and failure is not just a possibility, but an essential part of the story. More than a survival game, Pathologic 3 is a philosophical exploration of sacrifice, responsibility, and the weight of duty, wrapped in a dense, oppressive, and profoundly human narrative. The town breathes, observes, and judges. It reacts to every decision and transforms into another character, within a story where there are no right choices, only consequences. Fear the Time Loop puts you in the shoes of the exhausted Sheriff James Cooper, trapped in an abandoned hospital where he relives his own death every 15 minutes. With no apparent way out and time constantly against him, his only connection to the outside world is Rose, a police dispatcher who, for unknown reasons, is not subject to the time loop. Together, they must uncover the origin of the anomaly and confront a mysterious enemy who has turned this cycle into a deadly trap. The game invites you to explore a constantly shifting, 3-level hospital, warping corridors, increasingly sinister rooms, and an oppressive atmosphere that offers no respite. With each reset of the cycle, you'll have to solve complex puzzles, avoid, or confront terrifying creatures, and use everything you've learned before the clock resets. The dynamic environment design, combined with the constant pressure of time, creates an intense and unique psychological horror experience, where each attempt reveals new clues, dangers, and opportunities for survival. It's not just about moving forward, but about adapting, because only by understanding the loop can you break the cycle and discover the truth. Vampire: Bloodlord Rising may have flown under the radar in its initial announcements, but it's slowly but surely becoming one of those games worth keeping a close eye on. It was originally slated for release around the same time as Vampire: The Masquerade – Bloodlines 2, but it was ultimately delayed and will now enter early access in late January 2026. Behind the project is Meridian Games, a young studio with little track record, but here's a key detail. Its publisher is Toplitz Productions, a company that has already proven its ability to deliver solid and well-crafted experiences. There's certainly no shortage of reasons to be excited. The premise is as simple as it is enticing. You start as a newly turned vampire, practically a nobody, and gradually build your own legend. From expanding your influence across the region of Zangavia to constructing a colossal Gothic castle, worthy of overshadowing even Dracula himself. The world is vast and varied, with forests, dungeons, swamps, and mountains to explore, either solo or in co-op with friends. And as a true vampire lord, you'll also need to recruit followers, decide who joins your cause, and delegate responsibilities, including sharing the management of the castle and your expanding domain. In short, Vampire: Bloodlord Rising aims to be an ambitious vampire fantasy, with interesting ideas and the potential to surprise more than many expect when it launches in early access. MIO: Memories in Orbit is a Metroidvania that puts you in the shoes of Mio, a robot with extraordinary movement capabilities, tasked with exploring the vessel, a gigantic, abandoned spaceship adrift in space. What was once an ark of hope is now in ruins. Overgrown vegetation has reclaimed much of its structure, and rogue robots patrol its corridors, making exploration an experience as beautiful as it is dangerous. Each area hides secrets, shortcuts, and threats that will test your reflexes and adaptability. The goal is to delve deeper and deeper into the ship, unlock new abilities, and uncover the truth about Mio's past, a story pieced together from fragments, environments, and lost memories. MIO, Memories in Orbit will be released on January 20th for PC and consoles, promising an action exploration adventure with a strong visual and narrative identity, ideal for fans of the Metroidvania genre. The Legend of Heroes: Trails Beyond the Horizon is the latest installment in one of the longest-running and most respected JRPG series in the genre. For those unfamiliar, the Trails series is set on the fictional continent of Zemuria, and each game explores different countries, conflicts, and protagonists, building one of the most detailed and cohesive narrative universes in modern video games. This new installment once again offers multiple perspectives, further deepening its elaborate world building and connecting stories that have been years in the making. This time, Van Arkride and the members of Arkride Solutions return to the scene, but this time the conflict transcends the personal. Zemuria stands on the brink of a historic moment, the beginning of humanity's first space exploration. However, a mysterious invitation to participate in a high-level technological exercise triggers a series of unexpected events. Key figures like Rean Swartzer, Kevin Graham, Ash Carbide, and other pivotal characters from the saga are drawn toward a collision point with the deepest secrets lying at the heart of the continent. Their paths may differ, their motivations may clash, but they all grapple with the same essential question: what truly lies beyond the horizon? Trails Beyond the Horizon will arrive in the West on January 15th, promising an ambitious story brimming with politics, mystery, and consequences, designed for both saga veterans and those venturing into Zemuria for the first time. The Night Chamber, inspired by the great classics of psychological horror, follows the story of Michael and his colleagues Sarah Whitlock and Daniel J.J., genetic scientists from the Exolo Research Institute, sent to investigate an anomaly within a nearby wildlife sanctuary. Everything changes when, after running off the road, the team becomes stranded in a remote and isolated valley. As Michael tries to find his missing colleagues, he finds himself caught in a growing nightmare: fanatical cults, forgotten rituals, and malevolent forces that have remained hidden for generations. As the secrets of the valley are revealed, survival becomes increasingly desperate. Players must uncover the truth and determine the fate of the three scientists, confronting not only monstrous horrors but also the inner demons that haunt them. The experience features tense and strategic gameplay. Explore, gather resources, and manage them carefully. Every decision will test your resolve. You'll be able to evade enemies with stealth and cunning, or defend your position when fighting is the only way to survive. The Night Charnel will launch on January 30th for PC, Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, S, promising an oppressive, atmospheric, and deeply unsettling psychological horror experience. Folklore Hunter puts players in the shoes of investigators of the unexplained, determined to track down missing persons, cursed villages, abandoned military laboratories, and other locations marked by supernatural horror. Throughout your investigation, you'll face three legendary creatures: the Horned Wendigo, the Vampiric Striga, and the Unsettling Mothman, a new threat that expands the myth. All of this unfolds in handcrafted environments, ranging from dark forests and deep caves to cult lairs, abandoned churches, and sealed catacombs. To survive, you must prepare intelligently, set traps, install cameras, solve cryptic riddles, and uncover hidden plots while danger constantly lurks. Because here, you're not just the hunter, you're also the hunted. Whether playing solo or in online co-op, teamwork will be key. You'll have a diverse arsenal at your disposal, from shotguns, crossbows, and canisters of explosive gas to crucifixes, runes, and ritual objects, all necessary to face truly nightmarish threats. Folklore Hunter is a cooperative survival game inspired by urban legends and folklore, which will leave early access and officially launch on January 30th, 2026, for PC via Steam. Code Violet God. This game has had a lot of delays. God Violet is a survival horror experience that focuses heavily on psychological depth and a constant sense of vulnerability. Developed by Tim Kilmerdia, the game puts us in the shoes of Violet Sinclair, a young woman trapped in a futuristic complex where something has gone terribly wrong. It's not just about escaping, but about understanding what happened. As we progress through claustrophobic corridors, abandoned facilities, and areas where every noise can be a threat, we find that enemies don't always attack head-on, and often the greatest danger is not knowing what awaits you around the next corner. Exploration, resource management, and decision-making go hand in hand in an experience reminiscent of classic survival horror, but with a modern presentation and a more intimate narrative approach. Goodbye Violet doesn't aim to scare with constant jump scares, but rather to keep you on edge by playing with the atmosphere of silence and uncertainty. This dinosaur action horror game for PlayStation 5 was originally scheduled for December 12, 2025, but was delayed due to certification issues, and is now aiming for a release date of January 9, 2026. And that wraps up today's video, where each match can
Those are the
unfold
14
differently.
most anticipated
The main
games
objective
of
of each
2026.
encounter is to capture
Titles
the shield
that could
breaker,
define the year
a
right
key
from the
artifact
start.
that concentrates
Now
the
I want to
energy
hear
needed
from
impressive
you.
environments
Which one are you
and
most
confront the
excited
most
about?
painful decisions of
Did
her
I
past.
miss any game that should
Decisions
be on the list?
that continue to
Let
haunt
me
her
know in
even
the
as she
comments.
tries to escape.
If you enjoyed the video,
The story unfolds
leave a
in
like,
post-apocalyptic
subscribe to the
world
channel,
marked by
and turn on
endless
notifications,
ruins, deadly
so
enemies,
you don't miss any
and the
upcoming
last
releases,
vestiges of a
news,
vanished civilization
or surprises.
and endurance.
Thanks for
The
watching.
game features a
and I'll see you
surprisingly
in the next
realistic
video.
climbing system.
Take care,
where every
and
hope
happy
matters.
gaming.
Every move